Hi everyone.
Hello.
So I had a humbling insight recently.
You did?
I did.
Do tell.
I will. I'll tell you. I told you already, but I'll tell you again. So what I realized was that, and we've talked about it on the blog, where I haven't been very good about listening when you were upset, that I would have a hard time being compassionate. And what I realized is that at those times when I wasn't being very compassionate is that I actually would think that I was in a even frame of mind, like I was being logical and that I was in a good place.
You were above it all.
I would think that I was above it all. Yeah, that's one way of saying it. And then
on your pedestal.
well, that was the thing. I didn't realize I was on my pedestal, but then I saw, I don't know quite how it hit me, but I realized that, oh, when I'm in that place of, I think I'm being very reasonable and rational and logical, and you're the one that's being irrational and reactive, that I'm actually reactive too at those times. And that what I saw when I looked at that a little bit more deeply was that if I really looked at my feeling state, I wasn't like crazy angry, but I was tight and I wasn't really kind of in that compassionate, open-hearted place.
Right.
And then after listening to something that one of the speakers at the business summit was sharing about their relationship with their teenage daughter, I realized that, oh, this is something that I could actually have an intention to get better at, not getting, being more clear to not take my thinking seriously when I'm in that state of mind around you. You look confused.
No, I'm not confused. I'm not confused. Well, I'm not confused at all, because I think that really all boils down to feelings. So there can be, so for argument's sake, if we had an argument, or you were giving me feedback about, or let's say I'm in a bad mood and I'm acting out, and you're giving me feedback and you're connecting with me in that moment, and that if you looked at the transcripts, if there was some magical way of having everything annotated, then you were able to look at the transcripts. The exchange that we'd be having I would look like some sort of Neanderthal, and you would be dispensing reason and logic left, right, and center. But the thing is that you are dispensing that reason and logic not from a good feeling state.
Yes.
And that generally triggers me even more.
Yeah.
So I think that what I've been hearing, well, I guess I've been hearing it for a while, but I guess I get more and more opportunity to put it into action vis-a-vis daughter situations. But in the face of behavior that might be considered as being out of balance, there is an opportunity for me to maintain a level of compassion that would feel not typical for me in that scenario. And that generally is a much better standpoint than throwing fuel into the fire by pretending to be in a good place, or to engage in a way where I'm just trying to be reasonable and logical, but I'm not. It's probably very self-evident that I'm not in a good feeling.
Well, and that was it. That's why it was so humbling, is because I didn't realize. I wasn't pretending to be in a good place with you, is I actually thought I was in a good place with you. I thought that I was being reasonable and rational, and I didn't even see how that was still some level of reactivity on my part. And so when I saw that, it was very humbling, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's not me being in a really nice feeling inside, and that where I was coming from, even though I'm being logical, isn't a good place. And that I can actually get better at seeing that. Because like when I saw it now, because it's happened since I've seen this, when you're, a little upset about something and I can see, I get tight, I kind of tense up. And then instead of sort of trying to say something to help you out, or, have you be different, then I'm able to kind of just like, oh, I don't need to hang on to that. And then I get to be present again, because I would go like all into my head or try and figure it out. I just I don't get so bothered, and I can get over it more easily. And so I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't been saying so much at those times.
Yeah, I think that's bang on the money. And I think that this is the crude way of putting it, but I think that we as human beings, I was trying to think, do we have some kind of sixth sense? But in fact, I think what we have is a bullshit meter. And we know when something is authentic or inauthentic. And I think about that with the kids too. I was just thinking about how there are times when I think I'm being perfectly reasonable and logical in my response or my feedback, and then I'll be accused of shouting.
Right.
And then I'm kind of taken aback because I haven't been shouting. And then I'm realizing that they're picking on the feeling, which has really gone south.
Yeah.
And that's what they're reacting
That's
to.
a good way of saying it. So you do the same thing that they do. You feel like I'm shouting at you.
Exactly.
When I'm not. I think I'm being really reasonable, and you're like, you're being stern. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even realize that. I wasn't realizing it. And I know that I'm sure there's some things that I don't realize, but I feel like I've got better sensitivity to recognize that. And I've seen something that's helping me be more sensitive to that now, so that hopefully I can be more aware of that in the moment and less sort of blind to it.
Yeah, no, I've definitely noticed a shift in you in my arsholic behavior.
But I mean, I'd already made a shift.
Occasional arsholic behavior.
Yes, the very rare behavior. But I had already made a shift, but there was an even more subtle shift that was available that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, that's great. Nice insight.
Yeah.
Of which I will reap the benefits, no doubt.
I hope so. So really what I'm saying is that the feeling is, I've just got better at noticing when my feeling is tight. It's like I know now when I'm really, angry, upset, like all of those feelings, but now I'm even more recognizing the more subtleness of being tight and, not terribly upset, but I can still come across in not a great way, even if I'm just slightly off.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the great thing about this understanding. It points in the direction of possibly becoming more attuned to one's feelings and letting them be an indicator of our state of mind.
Exactly. And knowing when to get over myself. And knowing that I can get over myself.
Yeah.
Like if I get all tight like that, it's like, oh, I don't have to keep engaging with whatever thoughts are there that are having me be responding in that way.
Yeah, no, I love it.
All
Nice
right.
one.
Well, have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.